In the regular flight program, we learn a little bit of wind management, not nearly enough. Of course, we're using the headwind component landing so that we can land at a slower ground speed while having the same or even more airspeed or relative wind on the wing. Problem is, a lot of people up the airspeed so much that they're landing faster in a headwind component than they're landing in a no wind, but that's another story. There are other places where like you already know about finding your best winds, tailwinds especially, or not fighting as much headwind, and choosing your flight level on your cross country. But something I found in the mountains, I taught on the Navajo Reservation for 14 years and flew out of Gallup, New Mexico, about 6,400 foot elevation, in 65 horse to 150 horse airplanes. And I found that a lot of people were fighting headwinds so much going west towards California, Nevada, and out that way, especially going over passes, climbing up a lot before they get to the mountain and then over. And in a lot of little airplanes, they don't have enough fuel in that strong headwind component getting up there enough to get over the mountain, or even in the desert flying high enough that they got strong winds. The winds almost always are less strong at lower altitudes, and especially where I lived, 500 feet and below. Let's say 500 feet. Why fly into a headwind of 40 at 3,000 feet when you could fly into a headwind of 20 at 500 feet? So part of wind management is finding, you say, well, you got to get up over that pass. Well, wait till you get up to the valley drainage systems. You got two ridges and a valley in between, and one of those ridges, even if you're flying into the prevailing wind, might help you with some orographic lift when you get there, so that you fly in less wind until you get there, and then climb up, and then you got fuel enough to make your destination, get more fuel. Also, we've got a common problem in the mountains, and a dangerous problem that causes stall, spin, death, or just plain stall, or just plain described sometimes as the air just slammed him into the ground. The Forbes guy, I remember the name. The air just slammed that Chautauqua right into the ground. The air, I made a D in college algebra. I'm not a physicist. The air cannot slam into the ground. The ground will deflect it. It will. I've flown a lot of light airplanes like crop dusting Pawnee, empty Pawnee, and a 2,000 foot downdraft, rough air. You're getting beat up. You got a helmet on because your head's hitting the side all the time. Bang, bang, bang. If you didn't have a helmet on, you'd be knocked out. But going down like a bandit, I'm not trying to beat that wind. It's 2,000 foot per minute, and my Pawnee will go up maybe 1,000 or 15. But why do I want to stay there? The slower I go, the longer I stay in it. The faster I go, the sooner I'm out of it. So I pitch down to get out of it. And when you hit that air, that 2,000 foot per minute downdraft, it's a jolt. Boom! I mean, your helmet will go bang into the tubing that's on the side of that Pawnee, or if you're in a Cessna, your head will hit the roof, and you're either going to go up like a bandit or you're going to go down. You're going down. Okay, do we want to go slow down or do we want to go fast down? Let's go fast and get through this thing. And every time, I've done it 1,000 times, every time at 200 foot, bang again. I hit the bottom where that air compressed, coming down, it compressed, And because I'm going fast now, I follow it as it quits going at an angle down and starts going more horizontally, and I follow it on out. Whereas if I had stalled, I'll fall straight down. Downwind, downdraft, up, it doesn't matter, downdraft or updraft. I'll falling straight down, I'm falling straight down. Wham, I fall right through that place where that downdraft quits and bottoms out and keep going down if I've stalled. That's not the way to do it. So it's just the opposite of what seems normal in a light wind and away from the mountains where there's not so much rough air. If we're going down, we might pull back to not go down. I've always taught in low-powered airplanes, and even not in the mountains, I've always taught if pulling back doesn't help you get up, try pushing forward. You know, if it ain't working, try something else, you know. And guess what? Getting through a downdraft will help you at least not go down as fast. The same with the updraft. If we're flying along and we're maintaining altitude in our Comanche or our Air Coupe or whatever, and we hit an updraft and we want to maintain altitude. Why? I don't know. All low-powered flying in the mountains is maneuvering flight. You're never high enough to get a hemispheric rule. You're never 3,000 foot. I mean, unless you're in a jet or a very powerful piston airplane, you're not 3,000 foot above the. Is it 2,000 or 3,000? That's the hemispheric rule.
63, I think.
3, yeah. You don't hit the. You don't have that rule. That's no big deal. Fly whatever altitude you want. Fly what you can get. You know. So there's no need to be so far away from the earth and such big headwind, and there's no need to fight it if you're in a downdraft. The downdraft is not going to slam you into the ground. Fly through it quickly and it will affect you less time and therefore less altitude loss. And when you're in an updraft, pitch up and stay in it longer for more altitude gain. And if you pitch down in downdraft and pitch up in updraft, even light winds, 500, 600 foot per minute, you're going to gain altitude and airspeed over time versus trying to maintain altitude. And that's in Kansas as well as in the mountains. You're going to gain airspeed, or ground speed, you're going to gain ground speed and altitude over time because you're just managing that energy rather than letting that energy beat you up. And it's not going to throw you into the ground, but it's going to beat you up. If you're trying to go up and down drafts, you're going to be in them longer. And you're trying to go down and up drafts, you're going to be in them less time, and so you're going to lose that energy, that free. It's not free energy; it's energy available to thinkers. Think about it. I'm not a physicist, but it's just common sense. I mean, that just makes sense, Think about it. So that would be what I call on-course thermaling, where the glider is he's got big long wings and he can stay flying at a very slow airspeed. He may want to turn steeply to stay in a thermal going up and stay in that for a long time. We can't do that, and even in a 65 horsepower Champ, well, you might. It's pretty slow. But in your Bonanza, you're not going to do that. You're going to go through it anyway. So you might as well go through it fast if it's going down and go through it slow if it's going up, while maintaining your heading. We don't have to turn in it. We're not going slow enough to take that advantage. But on-course thermaling is simply flying fast through downdrafts and flying slow through updrafts, and saving your fuel for being able to get to the next fuel stop in the desert and the mountains is staying down till you have to go up. And when you have to go up, find some lift, find some orographic lift, or thermal up. Wait till you get pretty close to the mountain, and if the updrafts and downdrafts are significant, you're going to be up anyway. You can't help it. If you're flying fast through downdrafts and slow through updrafts, guess what? You're going to be pass height by the time you get there anyway. But generally, you're going to get that more in the flat desert and Kansas, and less so in the mountains where it's all green down low and shiny up high. It's your lift is up high and you're not there, and your down is down low where you are. It's not a favorable heat situation, but the winds are moving all around, and we can make those favorable by some wind management. That's that. I'll let that go.